Welcome back to New Hope Kids Online Sunday School. I am so glad that you are here with me today. Have you guys ever read or listened to a story about Jesus and miracles that he performed? Can you tell me a few of them right now? I'll listen, I promise. Oh, that's a good one. Yep, I like that one too. Really? Those are all good ones. Do you want to know one of my favorite ones? When he calms the storm, or when he heals those that have leprosy, or he heals blind Bartimaeus. I love all of the stories where Jesus performs these incredible miracles that, well, how would they have happened if it wasn't that he was miraculous and amazing? But did you know that the Old Testament has a lot of these stories in them too? I sometimes forget that. I sometimes forget that the Old Testament has a lot of amazing miracles in them as well. And as a matter of fact, today we are going to be learning about a really cool one. One that is, well, a story that I love because it has to do with baking. And as we all know by now, I hope, I love to bake. I love baking, and this has a lot to do with flour. So here's what you guys are going to need for today, for today's lesson. You are going to need markers. If you grabbed your Sunday school in a box, if not, we have them at church, or just let me know. We can get that for you guys. You are going to need some clay that comes in the Sunday school in a box. This is air-dried clay. You can also get air-dried clay from Walmart or Target or King Soopers, or maybe you guys have some at home. And like I said, if you guys need me to get you some of the Sunday school in a box, let me know. Happy to do it. You're also going to need the family discussion questions. Bible, if you want to read from Bible as family, or your favorite story Bible. I'm going to read from the Spark House today. So those are all of the supplies that we're going to need today. Oh, let me seal this back up before it dries out, before I need it. Okay, so do you guys remember where we were in the Bible? Remember what story we learned last week? Here, let's take a quick pause because I want you guys to remember where it was. Hey parents, it's in your curriculum. Help remind them where we are right now in the story of the Bible. I'll wait. You all caught up? Good. Because we learned all about God's temple last week. And I actually had the awesome opportunity of having in-person Sunday school with some of you guys. And I'm super excited we got to do that, and that we're going to start having Sunday school once a month together. It's really good to get to see you and spend time together. So today we are talking about very, very cool prophet. His name is Elijah. And he's very faithful to God. He loves God a lot. He trusts God a lot. And trusting God is really, it's really important for us because it's easy for us to lose our trust and worry about things that are coming. But Elijah always trusts, so he's a wonderful person to learn about. But so's the other person in this story. Both of them together have full trust in God. Let's take a listen, okay? So it's called Elijah and the Widow. This is from the Spark House Bible. Elijah was a prophet. God helped him show and tell others about God. One day God said, "Pack your things, Elijah. It's time for you to move to a new town. I've told a widow there to feed you. I will make a miracle." It was not a good time to move. Rain had not fallen for many days. The sun was hot and the earth was dry. Another word for that was a drought. Elijah didn't have any friends in this new town, but he listened to God and went to his new town. When Elijah finally got to the town, he was thirsty. Just then, he spotted a woman. Could this be the widow God told him about? "Excuse me, ma'am, could you please bring me a drink of water?" The kind woman hurried to get the water. Elijah's tummy growled. He remembered that God said the widow would feed him. He called after her, excuse me, ma'am, could you please bring me a nibble of bread to eat? The woman stopped in her tracks. She turned to face Elijah. The widow had sad eyes. I'm sorry, sir, I don't have any bread, she sighed. The last of my oil and flour will only make a biscuit. My son and I are going to split it as our last meal. We have no other food. She started to cry. Dry your tears, Elijah said. God will make a miracle for you. Bake the bread and share it with me. God promises that your flour and oil will not run out. The widow mixed and kneaded and baked loaf after loaf of bread. Her jar of flour and jug of oil made plenty of food for Elijah, herself, and her son. God's promise was kept. It was a miracle. She kept being able to make more and more bread. When she said she only had a small amount left to make a biscuit. Did you guys picture the size of a biscuit? They're not very big, but she made loaves of bread. That is the miracle that we learned about today. And it's so cool to get to know that God is a part of all of these things. And do you know why I like stories about God and baking? Because it reminds me that God is a part of our food and a part of baking and a part of all of our lives, that He cares about things as small as a loaf of bread. And He makes miracles out of them. So today we are going to remember this story with our project. Today, you guys can use your air-dried clay. So what you guys are going to do is you are going to make a jar, a flour jar. What do you think a flour jar would look like? Well, you could make something simple as a bowl with your clay. You could get a little bit more complicated and try to give it a top and a lip and a lid. Well, if I just do this simply right now, I could make a bowl. And then you would let this dry, and then you would decorate it with your markers to help remind you that God keeps His promises and of God's miracle with the widow. But I want you guys to take some time as a family to talk about this story while you guys are making your jar. So make your jars together, however you think you want them to look. You could use the coil method. Have you ever done the coil method before? I really like doing the coil method. So it's not always great when you have plastic paper, but you roll out a coil. You then, can you guys see this? You move it around, make circles, and you keep piling the coil on top of itself. And look, it made another type of a jar. You see it? And so what you would do then is you keep making more and more coils until you get the height that you want, and maybe you can add a handle to it. You guys really get this chance to make this design that you want to make to help remind you, because once it dries, you guys can keep it, and it can be a wonderful symbol and reminder of who God is, God's promises that He keeps, and how He loves people that can easily be forgotten, like widows or orphans. God often talks about how he cares and loves for the widows and the orphans in the Bible, because those are people, especially in biblical times, that were left to not have food. Like they were running out of food, and God cared for them enough to help them find food. So remember that right now when we are going through a new time in life where it's hard and many people don't have jobs. Maybe we can help find our way to help create miracles with God, with our jars, and with our way that we love people. I hope to see you soon. I miss you very much. Happy Sunday, guys. Bonus footage while I was filming today. I don't want you guys to see who was with me.
Somebody came with me today to film at church. Who's this? Hi. Hi, yeah. Do you want to look at the camera and say hi? Do you guys remember my dog's name?
Peanut butter. All right.